Hello, everyone. My name is Valdrin and I'm the senior analyst for Being Crypto. So today with me we have Konstantin, who is our global trader, and we're going to talk about the recent Bitcoin price movement. More specifically, if the price will fall to 28,000 or will increase again since it has reached a local low. Now my camera isn't working again. Honestly, I don't know why this is happening. It's just happening on StreamYard. So I'll try and fix it next time, but I mean, since I can still share my screen, I don't think that it's a big deal that you can't actually see my face. So yeah, I will share my screen and just outline my thoughts about Bitcoin. So honestly, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, even though I do not like the weekly chart at all. Because yeah, I mean, in the weekly chart we do have this. I mean, trading view changes. I have no idea why it's just confusing me now. Okay, so yeah, we have this resistance right here, and the price went above resistance. Now we have a bearish divergence. So yeah, I really think that bearish divergences on the weekly time frame are pretty bearish signs. So this is definitely something that I am keeping an eye on and will continue to do so in the near future. And then again, we also have this pretty big long upper wick here, which is also a sign of selling pressure. But I mean, I still really do like this close here. So this mid-June close, it's the second highest this year, and it's a pretty big bullish engulfing candlestick right into resistance. So I'm not ready to call this a full-blown bearish reversal yet, even though yeah, I really do not like the weakness here in the weekly time frame. But then when we go to the daily time frame, I mean, there is still possibility for more decrease, because there is an ascending support line here, and the support line is at about 27,500, maybe slightly higher. So yeah, I could definitely see the price decreasing there. And also we do have the RSI here that's falling. It has just dropped below 50. So honestly, these signs do look pretty bearish, but I'm mostly bullish because of the count, that I think is still pretty bullish, because we did have a 5-wave increase here, and then we did correct for a pretty long period of time. Let me just this time trading view. Okay, so then we corrected for 63 days, bounced at the 0.5 or maybe 3.2, I'm not sure. So yeah, we bounced at 0.32, significant upward movement, and I think it's pretty likely that this is the beginning of a new trend. Now, also, when we look at lower time frames, I think it is not that likely that we are in a big bearish trend reversal right now, because honestly, the move does not look impulsive to me at all, the down move, because I don't know, the way I see it, I mean, this is a channel, so it's definitely the corrective movement, even though we could definitely drop down here to like 27.7, 27.8, and also touch that long-term ascending support line before we do eventually break out. But honestly, since this here, I know this just looks like a really big complex correction to me. I'm not sure if it's like a complex WXY or if it's BBCD, though I don't know honestly how much sense it would make at this point, but I don't know. This still kind of looks corrective to me, but what I'm keeping an eye on is this area right here. So I mean, this was the horizontal range for for about 32 days. So whether the price breaks down from it or if it reclaims it, I mean, I think it can very well determine the future trend's direction. So in case that Bitcoin does reclaim it, I think we can immediately head towards 32K and higher. But if Bitcoin does get rejected, I think we'll drop to like that 28K region. Yes, so that was it on me for Bitcoin. I'll pass it to Konstantin now.
Yeah, thank you very much. I basically agree on your view on Bitcoin. So let's see how we can fill those 30 minutes. So basically what I see for Bitcoin is also definitely some bearish signs and also some bullish signs. So we can just start in a weekly chart. As Valdrin said, there is like this massive bearish divergence, which is really bearish, and also MACD lines crossed bearishly. Histogram of the MACD is ticking bearishly lower for 3 weeks now. But we are still in a massive upward trend since November. And last time we retraced down to the 25,000 support, to this FIB support, and bounced off heavily. So for me, the upward movement is still bullishly intact. And the only bearish thing is basically that we failed this level here twice. Essentially 4 weeks in a row, we couldn't break it. Then the bearish divergence formed, we dropped significantly. But now we've definitely find support at the 0.382 FIB level at roughly 29,150. And that's also where I placed the long position. But as you can see, there is not much happening for now. Volatility tries up. So here in a daily chart, yeah, it's kind of 50-50 because MACD is ticking bullishly higher. Of the histogram of the MACD is ticking bullishly higher, which is a good sign. But there wasn't like a major bounce of the support yet. And also for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, we couldn't, no, 7 days even, we couldn't break the 50-day EMA resistance. So depending on that, if we break it, I feel like we could definitely go up to the next FIB resistances right there. So there is some upward potential once we break the 50-day EMA resistance, roughly 2% and roughly 4.5%. So that's not really much. If we get rejected at the golden ratio here at roughly 30,700, then I feel like we definitely retrace down to the FIB support again and most likely break it. So, I mean, yeah, we could definitely head towards the next FIB support then here at the golden ratio at 27,250. And there is also the 200-day EMA, which acts as additional support. So this is basically downward potential here. Let's say we get rejected here and retrace down to roughly 12%. So there's still this possibility that we bounce off that support, which would be very bullish because those FIB supports are still part of this upward movement, and of the whole upward movement here since November, we could still go as low as 20,100 to 21,200, basically dropping by 30%, and the bullish upward movement would still be intact. So for me, trend remains bullish. We still have that golden crossover in a daily chart. Yeah, but still there is this possibility that this is the top for this whole formation and we go down to 15,000. But for now, there's no reason to believe that. We still have a lot of FIB supports where we can bounce off. And especially now, it's really 50-50 to me, depending on if we break the next resistance or not and face rejection at the next FIB levels. Also, we have some bearish confirmation now in the 4-hourly chart since the death cross has formed here, but golden crossover and death cross in a 4-hourly can happen a lot. So this could also, if we break the 50-day EMA resistance and break the next FIPS levels, those EMAs will most likely form a golden crossover again and confirm the trend bullishly in the short term. And for now, the MACD is also bullish in the 4-hourly chart. The only really bad thing that I see is that we don't break the 50-day EMA, which should happen sooner than later. Ideally today, but this is really bad. I mean, yeah, that's very unsuccessful so far. So we will see what we break first. Either it's the FIB support, then we head most likely to the next FIB support, or we break that resistance and head to the next FIB resistance. So for now, I would just wait for confirmation, see what happens next, and then decide on that, in which direction we will go. So yeah, that's basically a view on Bitcoin. To summarize, still bullish with some bearish potential. We still have like almost 20 minutes left, so we could talk about other cryptos. What do you think, Valdrin? Should we talk about Ethereum?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was probably gonna talk a bit about the dominance rate and Ethereum Bitcoin. So I guess you could do the USD pair if you want.
Yeah, maybe because dominance is still part of Bitcoin, then you just continue with Bitcoin, and then I will do the Ethereum US dollar pair.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, so if we're looking at the Bitcoin dominance rate, wait, I don't think it shows yet.
Yeah, it shows your
Okay,
screen.
now it does. Okay, so yeah, the Bitcoin dominance rate, we do have this rejection from the 0.382 fib. I mean, it's a pretty critical rejection, and honestly, by the shape of the move, I'm not yet certain if this is the correct count, or maybe that we like did something like this. I don't know, but I think we'll have a drop either way. So on the bullish side, we do have this breakout from this pretty long-term range, 770-day range. But on the bearish side, the price did reach a very, I mean, it's pretty close to an all-time high RSI here. So extremely overbought levels, very close to an all-time high RSI, and the RSI decreased now. So this is a pretty distinct sign of weakness to me. And yeah, so I think at the very least, the Bitcoin dominance rate will fall to 48%. But then if it breaks down, then this entire move here would be considered as just a deviation, and then it could very well lead to a significant downward movement. Now, in the daily time frame, I mean, the move is kind of parabolic here. So, I mean, this is definitely not sustainable in the long run. And honestly, even if we actually connect these highs here, then it's pretty probable that the parabola is actually broken down. So yeah, I do think we do have a significant decrease, at the very least, to the 0.325 for the 7%, which is also very close, or maybe the 0.61.
I think we're facing internet connection problems.
The same thing. But I mean, my screen is still showing, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's your issue or my issue, but it's kind of laggy. But now it improves again.
I'll just wait a couple of minutes to see if it resolves itself.
Yeah, now it seems fine, honestly.
Okay, yeah, it's fine now. Okay, so this this possibility in the Bitcoin dominance rate, I think it also fits with the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. I mean, honestly, I've been saying this will break out for a while, and I still think it does because, like, I don't know, this drop is really weird and really corrective, and then we have this bullish divergence in the weekly RSI, and then the price did bounce at the support line of the wedge and just below the 0.618 fib, and now it has reclaimed this fib level. And it also trades in a wedge, which is considered a bullish pattern. So honestly, I'd be really surprised if this does not break out soon and, I don't know, move at least to like this region here, maybe closer to here, 7.7 something. But also, if it breaks these highs, then like it can increase to the all-time high at 0.0015. So yeah, for now, I think alts will outperform Bitcoin a little.
All right, yeah, then let's talk about Ethereum. Let me share screen. So now should be visible. Yeah, Ethereum is in a similar situation right now with the 50-day EMA, but in contrast to Bitcoin, it already broke the 0.382 fib support, although it's very close to it. So it could also go higher and then confirms that level as support again. But for now, it acts as resistance as well as the 50-day EMA. So Ethereum looks a little bit more bearish here in the daily chart. If it breaks down, it could also retrace down to the 200-day EMA support at the golden ratio, roughly 1,770. Histogram of the MACD is also ticking bullishly higher, which is a good sign. And the EMAs are still bullishly crossed, which confirms the trend. Bullishly in the short to medium term. But in the 4-hourly chart, we also have that death cross, which could also change very soon. I mean, those EMAs are very close to each other, so I wouldn't put too much weight on that. It's not that important, actually. But still, it's a bearish sign for sure, and the MACD lines cross bearishly. So Ethereum looks also kind of, I would say, like, while Bitcoin looks more like 50-50, Ethereum looks more like a smaller, like a more bearish tendency here, with still a lot of bullish potential. And in the weekly chart, we didn't have that. We already had a lower high here, so no bearish divergence. Yeah, I mean, what's really bearish for Ethereum is definitely that it was rejected at the golden ratio resistance here after it reached that high at roughly 2,140. MACD lines across bearishly in the weekly chart. Histogram of the MACD is ticking bearishly lower. But the same as Bitcoin, it bounced off heavily the 0.382 fib support. But that rejection, I mean, if you compare it to Bitcoin, what Bitcoin did is creating a higher high with a bearish divergence in the RSI, which is definitely still better than facing major rejection at the golden ratio resistance. So it created a lower high, which basically confirms this retracement here. It basically confirms that from now on, potentially, this upward movement is done as long as we don't break the next fib level. So this fib level is really important. We have to break it in order to go for a higher high. Otherwise, probably we will retrace lower and lower up to that point where we could potentially reach the golden ratio support at 1,350, which is also right at the trend line support line here. So this is definitely a massive support that we could place longs at if we think we could bounce off it. And from there, basically, if we really would bounce at that exact level, we could go up to the next FIB resistances here. And that would be basically upward potential of 21 to 35%. But this is really just, I mean, we are far away from that scenario for now. We still have a lot of other FIB levels to reach before we can consider that scenario. So for now, next FIB support is here at the, I think it was 200-day EMA at the golden ratio at 1,770. And then the major next resistance is at 1,950. So those two levels are the key here, because if we stay above that level, means that this upward movement is still intact, and we could potentially go for the next FIB resistance. If it breaks down, that would be really bearish, and then I would definitely consider a retracement to the last FIB support, which we already bounced off from here at roughly 1,660. And if that support level breaks, then we could head to the golden ratio support. In general, once we bounced off here, that was a very bullish sign, but then this bearish rejection means if we reach that FIB support again, I don't really think it will hold. I think it will break bearishly, and then we could head to the golden ratio support. So that's basically my view on Ethereum. We still haven't reached those FIB resistances here. We already failed at the low of January. So January last year, essentially. So it doesn't look too bullish to me, but we're still in this upward movement since June. So yeah, it's also not very clear. Basically, to summarize, we're still in this upward movement. For now, it looks rather bearish with some upward potential still. So that's about it. Yeah, we'll pass to Valdrin.
Thanks for that, Konstantin. I mean, I know we still have about 7 minutes left, but I mean, since we covered Ethereum and Bitcoin on the dominance rate, I guess if we do not have any questions, then we could end the stream. So maybe let's just wait and see if we do have any questions. Okay, we don't have any questions, so I guess that was the stream for today. So thanks a lot for those who joined, and we will see you in the next stream.
Thank
Have a
you,
nice
guys.
day.
Take care. Bye-bye.